Fighters kept on a spirited fight in their search for freedom, a cause they were willing to pursue to a bitter end if it so demanded.
Because of the great love that united us, we gave no heed to the warning not to feed the fighters. We devised ways of ensuring that we took food to them. We would drop a log across the trench, and whoever was sent to take food to the fighters would use the log to get to the other side.
Mau Mau fighters still found ways to sneak back into the village. However, those in the village who hadn't gone into the forest came in handy, as they provided much needed information to the Mau Mau on the outside world. The Mau Mau got food from the village. Sometimes even the Mau Mau used to go through the trench to get food.
We had a specific point where we used to put the food. The fighters would then come at night to pick it. And because there was no one to bring back the kiondos, we used all we had until none were left.
Their dream was, however, short-lived as the colonial masters learned of their scheme. As a result, stiffer operating conditions were effected within the villages.
It reached a point where we had to use a burning stick to go to the toilet, so that when the Mau Mau fighters got into the village, they could easily be identified.
Outside the villages, the war was already gaining momentum, with Mau Mau fighters determined to draw the white man out of their country and the white settlers resisting this change. In the process, many lives were lost.
Whenever the fighters got killed, the entire village would then be called to identify the bodies and then head back to the camp. We were abused and told, "Here is your independence."
With so many Mau Mau fighters dead and the war still raging on, there was no time for conducting respectable burial sites. The dead were dumped in mass graves just near the camp. More than 4 decades later, the graveyard is now a private land owned by one family, popularly known as the Gashangis.
Many people have refused to settle here for fear of being haunted by the spirits.
But as this family confides, the memories of the past still live on. We got here just in time to witness how shallow the graves were, and with just a little dig, we expose countless human remains. Gashangi pours water on these remains to harden them, as they are quite brittle.
Now there was no time for a decent burial, so a deep grave would be dug and the bodies dumped there. One grave could even carry up to 10 bodies. These remains here were among those at the top. There are countless more buried beneath this surface.
Does it bother this family?
We have now become friends with the spirits and they have never disturbed our peace.
Those undergoing interrogation at the chief and police posts are the ones who used to bury the dead.
The graves are about 20 feet deep. The reason being there was no time to dig a grave every day, so the few who would get shot would be buried and space left for the others who would be killed later. This one here didn't fall sick. No, he was shot by the white man because of our soil.
All these structures, Gashangi says, are built on top of human remains of courageous young men who went out in search of freedom.
When we were building these houses, we did not disclose such information to the builder so that he could continue with the construction. We covered the human remains with soil and the construction would continue. Even
at the point of their death, these fallen heroes still clung on to the passion of a motherland they were ready to sacrifice their lives for.
Immediately one was shot, the first thing that you would do was to grab a handful of soil and cast the white man by that same soil that you are about to die for.
When we are tilling the land and come across human remains, we rebury them instead of leaving them exposed. During construction, some of the workers discovered human remains, got scared and stopped the exercise. Out of the 6 that we started out with, only 2 of us were brave enough to carry on.
For generations born after the memorable Mau Mau War, the graveyard provides practical experience of the events that took place.
When we are digging, we normally come across many things like rings, batons, bullets, and crude weapons such as axes and whips. When we were growing up, we used to play around with such things, trying to find out how they worked.
A hint that the government should probably pick up and establish the place as a tourist attraction site.
This is a human leg. And this is a skull, though it's almost fully decomposed now.
For those who lived then, life to them was war, and every day was a struggle, whose end result is the only aspect worth reminiscing about.
If that war can recur today, I would rather commit suicide. Many of us would. Don't think that war is fought with a fist.
Remembering the atrocities they went through, they cannot help but add their voices in advocating for compensation for all those who went out of their way to secure a better tomorrow for generations to come.
Now, the government should compensate those who died fighting for our soil. As for those who survived, they should at least be allocated some land because they never got to enjoy what they were fighting for.
The greatest way in which the government can assist me is to probably help me access medical treatment because my leg still hurts a lot. I will really be glad if this happened.
And as we celebrate these unsung heroes, let us think of the pain, the agony, and the long suffering that was their day-to-day life. For these founding brethren of our beloved nation, Kenya, so that together we can confess, Daima Mim Kenya, Mwananchi Mzalendo.